Moving over to Manchester City, the City Football Group posted a £122 million pre-tax loss for 2023-2024. Could that have any impact on Manchester City's finances, or this is strictly just going to kind of impact the overall multi-club system here?
It's well, look. I think we've got to look at this. That the City Football Group does have City in it, but I don't think it impacts the whole situation. Still, our Abu Dhabi man owns 80% of the City Football Group. But when you look at it, and I did look into where this sort of losses have come from, most of the clubs in the City Football Group are loss making. And so you've got a collection of clubs there that are obviously a big issue there. Also, there's some big stadium redevelopment going on at City. There's plans to build a new stadium in New York, I think, as well, for New York City, which you're probably aware of, that are going to be costly at this sort of phase as well. And I believe City were involved in building the Co-op Live, which is the great new concert venue in Manchester. So there's been three huge real estate projects that have got a lot of cost involved at the start, but will in the end become revenue bearing assets, hopefully going forward. I know that the one in New York is, and you'll probably know more than I do on this one, but it's certainly been a long time coming, and it's been, beset with planning issues and the whole thing. But certainly, these sort of projects have to be front loaded financially, and so that's where a lot of the losses will come from. But overall, look, it's a very solid group. I think they've managed to manipulate them to become more cohesive than they were before. They're no longer just a collection of clubs; they're working actively together. Brian Marwood, who runs the City Group, has done a really good job, I think, of handling all of that. So yes, there's a loss, but I think we'll start to see those sort of losses come down as we go forward with these other projects.
And Manchester City obviously have recorded massive profits over last year, the years before, years and years on. In these multi-club systems, how do these losses kind of balance themselves out? Like, does Man City get affected less when the City Football Group has a loss? Is it going to hurt their transfer window less versus it may hurt a Girona or one of the other clubs in the, NYCFC, as you mentioned?
Well, I think they've got to look at trying to make more of those clubs profitable, and at the moment, most of them aren't. So you're seeing that investment right now, like New York, hopefully turning into a profit-making centre, and I think that will come, as they've done in Spain as well with Girona. I think it is the club that they've got
Yeah.
there as well. So look, it's a case of investing now to try and stop that. I don't think it's affecting City at all because they're seeing the loss making in the other clubs as being okay in terms of producing players and helping players on the pathway up to City. And we've seen City be very successful in the transfer market, both at the City Football Group level and at the Man City level. So as long as they're producing players that have an ongoing value, then I think that player trading issue will carry on. But overall, look, the owners have got deep pockets. They're building something here that is going to be quite a pyramid of their own making. And so I don't think there's any concern about impacting any spending for City at all. The biggest thing that would impact them is PSR, and they're nowhere near that situation right now.
And would you expect these losses for City Football Group to be much bigger next year if Man City don't make the Champions League? I mean, we know right now between 4th and 10th in the Premier League is only a 5-point gap. So the range of outcomes are Champions League all the way to no European football.
Yeah, but it's pretty much confirmed now. I think fifth place is going to get Champions League, so I think that increases City's chances considerably. I do expect them to make Champions League, given that fifth is going to make it. But yes, if they didn't, if they had a big fall in form, and we've seen certainly some wobbles in the last few weeks, then it would impact them, and certainly dropping out of Champions League would be a very serious blow for City's finances, and would then at that stage give them some pause for thought about starting to look at the numbers involved. But we're not there yet. But it is no doubt there is going to be a very interesting end to the season for City, and Pep will know the pressure is on to get into that fifth and fourth spot. But there's a very big crowd in there, as we know. It's going to be an exciting end to the season, and that's really where a lot of interest is there right now. So I'm looking. Each week is becoming more important, and for City, as you say, it could become quite a big swing in the numbers. It's certainly in the wrong direction.
And it's an international break. There's no club football. So, of course, everyone's talking about the 115 charges right now because what else is there to talk about? That decision does seem to be getting a little bit closer. The rumors are, though, that Man City may make it through somewhat unscathed. Maybe, as we said before, a fine, but nothing serious in the way that many were expecting and some were hoping. Is that what you're expecting?
Well, look, you're absolutely right. The media speculation has suddenly come out of nowhere because it's an international break, I think, and there's just nothing else to talk about. So everybody's willing the authorities to release the verdict, and there's talk of, it's going to be today, it's going to be tomorrow. Where's Lord Panic today, and all the rest of it. It's fascinating. The reality is no one knows whether it's going to come out and whether it could be another month or so yet before it comes out. I'd always thought it was going to be around Easter time. We're certainly getting close, and I still think it'll be around that sort of time. I don't think whether it's an international break really impacts things because courts are not swayed. Not that it's a court issue, but certainly the panel is not swayed by things like an international break. All the rumours, and there's both sides of the rumour mill are going strongly that Man City are going to escape. That there's, a settlement being done behind the scenes to the Premier League may well win. So right now, you just pick your rumour and see where it goes. My own gut feeling and the sort of sources that I've been trusting so far would tend towards City doing quite well in this case. But I don't think both parties will come out of it unscathed. So let's just wait and see, as we say, let's wait and see. And the other thing that people have cautioned about, which I agree with, is that this is a very complex issue. And the judgment when it comes out will be very complex and very lengthy. And so if anybody starts making statements about this in the first few hours, forget it, because it takes some considered opinion to really think about this. So let's all just take a deep breath, go through it and really understand what the judgment is before we all jump to judgment.